entertainment.
Truth, you can hear it in my statement. Nothing's ever given if you want to take it. It's time to stand up and fight for liberation. Looking at a burnt out shell from early drug war. Still murdering the neighborhood bangers and crack whores. Racism in America, homie, is still the same. I guess Obama's president, you can see the hope of change, but it's what hood you're from, what set you claim. I'm from the tribe of Shabazz and all the next is the name of black nationalist. When I pump my fist, so you know goddamn well this ain't no radio hit. Now it's time to reload and repackage the message. Behold, the new age of the black progression, where daddy's at home, we don't rent, we own. Whether Muhammad or Christ, we unite, our faith is strong. My mind's in deep thought when that kush be blazing. State of emergency for this black nation. Back against the wall, pump my fist, fuck the hating. I'm on a mission to escape the plantation. Breaking chains, mental incarceration. Freedom is the truth, you can hear it in my statement. Nothing's ever given if you want to take it. It's time to stand up and fight for liberation. We want real liberation, true salvation for freedom of justice. Go out with guns blazing, amazing grace, so sweet the sound. When it's your blood that lays the streets, tell me, are you still down to pick up the pieces? Man, I write this thesis, reveal the truth and expose who the beast is. Word to it.
You weak, you don't fight. You think you hard, you're not hard. You're not that guy, buddy, you're not that guy. Shoot all the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot them. You a sweet nigga. You a sweet nigga. You a ladies man.
Subliminal wordplay, that's how these suckers play the game. I hear them talking, still waiting on them to say my name. I never hate on success, I'm inspired. Spark the fire and watch me elevate a little higher. Heard what you said on that record, motherfucker, you's a liar. Now it's off with the head to the so-called sires. I guess they thought I retired. I got the dope for the buyer. Check the prize and watch your conversations on the wire. No more CDs, MP3s, it's views and streams. Cancel the option to give you that sanitized and clean. I'm old school, OG, the little homies call me Unk. I don't keep it in the trunk, it's on my waistband, I'm still up. Lit, get it clicking in this bitch. When they pull up, I hit them with the zap, cause I'm so rough, so tough. Trying to suppress them demons deep inside. Chaotic is my mind, 1025. I'm on some B-boy shit, check my rhymes. This that PDX dope, blow your mind like coke lines. Y'all know what it is, y'all know the time. Third eye, God's plan, the holy design.
Football Talk Tuesday. I'm your man, Mr. Ray Nelson Jr. My co-host, Mawkus O, is not in the building at the moment. Not sure what's up with him. But hopefully he'll be in at some time today. But how you guys doing? We just had an excellent weekend of football. And most importantly, the San Francisco 49ers smoked the Eagles. Now, if you watched last week's show, you would already know that I predicted that to be a close game. I thought maybe a field goal or so. Marcus, he predicted the game would be at least 10 points, and so he was closer to the truth. But no, I didn't expect the 49ers to blow them out like that. I thought we started off a little early. We looked a little sluggish, but the defense looked hella good in the first half of that game. They allowed the Eagles to get inside the 10, or excuse me, down to the goal line 2 times, and was able to stop the Eagles. That was pretty good. That was amazing. I wasn't expecting that, but at that point, when I seen that happen, I was like, okay, we ready to play football. So it was a very impressive game. A lot of people, Philly fans, are saying that game doesn't matter. And to be honest with you, they're right to a certain extent. It doesn't matter, but it matters in this sense. When we lost last year's NFC Championship game to them, we didn't have our quarterback. We had a ton of injuries on our side of the ball, and we don't make excuses, but there's always a reason, and if you don't have your best players on the field, then it's hard to really perform. Now, what this game means in terms of importance for the 49ers, I feel like we showed physicality on both sides of the ball and in the trenches on the line. I feel like we were able to dominate and do what we wanted to do. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. Um, Philly's still a good football team. I don't take nothing away from them, but I think that right now, what we're seeing here after week 13 is the 49ers is probably the best football team in football right now, until proven otherwise. And they can stay healthy. This is going to be a scary team for a lot of people. Scary team. So, but in the NFC, AFC, the best team for me right now is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. The team that I like after that would be the Ravens. Still a little bit kind of weary about the Ravens at this point, but they have Lamar Jackson, they have Odell Beckham, they have they have a pretty good defense, so that team is going to be formidable. And maybe you'll see that team in the preview, 49ers, Ravens maybe. Does KC get through and do it again? Who knows? We'll see. But other than that, what's going on this weekend is college football. And we've seen the Oregon Ducks they didn't get smoked, but they got beat by Washington. And Washington was impressive in this football game. They tackled well. They were physical. They were more physical than Oregon, I think. I think Oregon didn't set the tone coming in. They came out throwing the ball. You got to run the ball. That's just my philosophy in football. You got to get your offensive linemen activated. And I think that, they came back. They got down to an early deficit, and they were able to fight back, and they made it a great game. I enjoyed it. I'm a big Bo Nix fan. I like Pettit over there at Washington as well. Both of those guys are Heisman Trophy candidates. I thought Oregon was the better team going in, even in the last game that Washington won on the missed field goal. I still thought Oregon was the better football team. I think that Washington was probably the better coached football team. They were the better prepared football team from what I was watching. Shouts out to the Huskies. They played a great game. Ducks had a great season. They don't have nothing to really be ashamed of. It's just that they ran into a pretty good team in Washington. And Washington is somebody to look out for in this college playoff, which we have. For the college playoffs, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide, we have the Michigan Wolverines, we have the Texas Longhorns, and of course we have the Washington Huskies. And so those are your four teams. Now, out of those four teams, three of them I'm pretty solid with them being involved in being in the playoff. I think that's a good thing. But I think if you guys watch football, college football, I think you might have been reading about this and hearing about this. But a 13-0 Florida State team did not make the playoff. Alabama got gifted that playoff spot as they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Now, I really, I look at this and I knew it was coming. I thought about it before the game, and I said, if Alabama pulls this game out some way, somehow, they're going to get in. And sure enough, that's what happened. Disappointing. Florida State's 13-0, did not lose a game this season, and they got snubbed for a playoff spot. We can argue all day longer until you're blue in the face. It's not going to change anything. The college football playoff system has always been garbage. It's no different than what it used to be back in the day when we used to vote, when the sports writers would vote the AP poll, and you had the UP poll and all these different polls, and basically it was a fantasy championship, and this is basically what we have right here. I'm not saying that Alabama didn't improve and become a better football team throughout the season after their early loss to Texas. I'm just saying that if you're going to call it right, call it right. And this is a 13-0 undefeated team that won their conference championship, and they don't get into the playoff. Don't lose one game. Somebody's going to have to make that make sense for me. That I will never understand. But I guess it is what it is. That's college football for you. Right now, my early favorite, I'm going with Washington. I'm gonna keep it West Coast, Pacific Northwest. I'm going with the Huskies to take the title, to win the national crown. I think they beat. Let me see what we got for the matchups on those guys. But I think they go ahead and they can beat any of these teams in the playoffs right now. You know, Michigan, they're a solid football team, but I think Washington's better than them. I think they have more offense, and I think that's what's going to be the difference. And Washington is surprisingly, like I said, they're surprisingly physical. And so it'll be interesting to see them get down in this playoff mix-up. But let's see here what we got going on. In other news in the NFL, Dallas Cowboys, they got a victory this week. So they're staying in the hunt. They're at 9-3. But we knocked them both off and we smoked both of those NFC East teams. Until you Philly fans is out here saying that, well, the game doesn't mean nothing. Hey, listen, it meant something to you because you're saying it don't mean nothing. And that's what's happening. What we got in the building? We got Ebony in the building. What's happening with you? We got let's see here. So let's go over the scores that we had this weekend for the NFL. And then we'll go back into college football and talk about that. Because I'm going to tell you something. After such an exciting college football season, and for it to end the way it did, God bless Alabama and everything that they did this season, though. But you got to take the bowl game. You shouldn't be in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. That's just how I feel about it. You just can't leapfrog a team that's 13-0, a Power 5 team, and then it just shoots the whole idea of this Power 5 thing to the dirt. Who gives a shit at this point? I mean, you just gonna, like Shannon Sharp said this back in 2017. He called it what this college playoff thing was going to turn into is the Alabama Invitational, and that's what it's looking like. So he was pretty prophetic when he said that. Very interesting, but suspect. But yeah, it takes away from a pretty good season, man. It's disappointing how that whole thing, it was just lackluster. How they did that, but it is what it is, and that's football for you. But moving right along, but let's go ahead and get into these NFL scores from week 13. So if you was getting your bet on and all that kind of stuff, hopefully you won some money. I haven't bet in a while, but I know for week 13, Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks. I was going for the Seahawks in that one, but the Seahawks, of course, like my man Jermaine said, Geno Smith is going to fuck it up somehow. But he has one of the best comeback records in NFL right now, currently for current players. But he wasn't able to get it done against the Cowboys. Shout out to the Cowboys; they get that victory. New England and the Chargers. This was a straight dud. This game ended in a 6-0 win for the Chargers. That's trash. I'm not going to continue to talk about that game, but moving right along, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Arizona Cardinals. Pittsburgh, my man Scooty's team. Man, what's popping with y'all, man? This ain't it. That's why you ain't bought Madden, because your team is trash. But that's all right, though. Maybe next year. 24-10, Cardinals over Pittsburgh. Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts pulled this one out 31-28. And Texans. I was about to say the Houston Oilers. That just shows you how old I am. But yes, the Houston Texans, they pull one out with that young boy Stroud out there at quarterback. I like that kid. Check him out if you get a chance to watch the Houston Texans play. But they was able to pull one out against a hot Denver team who had won 4 or 5 games in a row. So shout out to them. Detroit Lions pulls one out against New Orleans. Atlanta beats the Jets in another ugly dud game, 13-8. Man, feel sorry for the Jets though. Aaron Rodgers going out in that first game, I had high expectations for them up into the 4 downs that Aaron Rodgers was able to play. But he's back practicing. I don't think he needs to risk trying to come back. I think he just comes back next season and try to get his thing another run. Miami Dolphins, they beat Washington, smoked them 45-15. That's really nothing to talk about. Carolina loses to Tampa Bay 28-21. 49ers, of course, 42-19 over the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. I was about to call them the Philadelphia Seahawks or something. It's kind of stupid. But anyway, Browns lose to the Rams 36-19. God damn it. So, motherfucker always want to call me when I'm busy doing some shit. Fuck out of here. Hold on. Let me mute my phone. Excuse the language. Go ahead, back to the show. KC loses to Green Bay. That's a shocking game right there. I wasn't expecting that. Shout out to Green Bay Packers, able to pull out an upset over the Kansas City Chiefs. And, that one surprised me. I didn't really get to check the game, but 27-19, when you look at Patrick Mahomes, he was 21-33. He had 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not really one of his bigger games, but the young man Jordan Love passed for 25 for 36 for 267 yards and 3 touchdown passes. So he definitely outplayed the Super Bowl MVP. Much love to Jordan. He's coming into his own right now, but that's a big win for the kid. Probably the biggest game of his career, and especially winning one over the Kansas City Chiefs like that. That's big time right there. Okay, so and after that, we got the Monday Night Football game to end the week. We had Cincinnati Bengals pulling off an upset over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's what you got. Pretty good weekend of football, at least for if you're a 49ers fan. It's a great weekend of football for you. If you're a Florida State football fan, my apologies to you. I'm with you. I'm rocking with you. I know the governor of Florida wants to sue college football for this atrocity, but let's be honest, nothing's going to happen. This is college football for you. When they get the 12 team, I think it's 12 teams. I hope I'm right on that with this new playoff layout, or is it 8 teams? I don't know. I might be jumping the gun there, but 4 teams is just not. It's not a good look. I don't know. I've been complaining about this since they came up with this whole situation. It should have been more teams off the top, but then you got bowl games and tradition and all those things you had to fight against. So it is what it is. But yeah, that was your weekend of football. And let's go back into college football though. Change this music though. All right. So anyway, I'm picking Washington to win the title. I'm calling it. I'm saying it right now today on the show. Washington Huskies to win the national championship. So we're going to see what happens. But I feel like they got as good a shot as any team in the playoffs right now. But I will say that Alabama being in this playoff mix, they definitely got a shot. Texas, good football team. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Let's see here. So we go ahead with the college football scores from this past weekend. And we got to go back a week, yo. Of course, we had Oregon and Washington. Like I said before, I started off the show talking about this game. Shout out to Washington. They played a good game. They're the number 3 team in the country. Oregon, number 5. They pulled out the victory 34-31. And yeah, that was an exciting ball game. Friday night, Las Vegas. man, you have two Heisman Trophy candidates right now. And many people say that the winner of this game is probably going to get the trophy. That's yet to be seen. But let's talk about what they did on the field. And on the field, Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, he was 21 of 34 passing for 239 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Michael Penix Jr. was 27 of 39 for 319 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. As far as on the ground rushing, that's where I feel like was a problem for Oregon. They weren't able to run the ball like they wanted to. Dylan Johnson for Washington was the key in this game because Washington was able to establish the run. He carried the ball 28 times for 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that kid is a monster, played a hell of a game. I was impressed with what he was doing. Like I said, Oregon didn't run the ball that much. When you talk about you compare the teams, Oregon ran the ball 20 times compared to Washington running the ball 37 times. So that means a lot when you talk about time of possession and ability to control the game. Oregon did fight back. They had a hell of a run in the third quarter. At second quarter, the end of the half, they scored 10 points and they had 14 points in the third quarter, but they came up short in the fourth. That's where they only scored 7 points. But Dylan Johnson was the key in that ball game, and the fact that I feel like Washington was more physical in that game. They were the better tackling team. And for me, I watched the game inside out, and for me, the team that's tackling the best, those are usually the teams that I favor to win ball games. All right. So that kicked off everything Friday night, last Friday. Let's see. After that, we had Texas and Oklahoma State. And Texas did what Texas does. They've been a pretty good team, number 7 team in the country. They won 49-21. And when we look into this game right here, not really much to talk about. Wasn't close at all. Got a chance to check out the highlights. Oklahoma State's quarterback Alan Bowman passed 22 times, or he had 38 attempts for 22 completions, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Quinn Ewers was 35 for 46, 452 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception for the Texas Longhorns. So he had a hell of a day. Over there, damn near doubling what Bauman put out there. But, Texas was taking care of business to ensure that there won't be any funny business getting into this college playoff. But, of course, there's always going to be funny business, as we said before. Let's go. What am I doing? My bad. All right. So anyway, Alabama, Georgia. Now I was going for Georgia in this game because I just didn't want it to be no funny business. I wanted Georgia to go ahead and take care of business and win this game. I wanted Florida State to get in so that we can so this shit could be clean. But of course, in college football, you can never have it clean. And so Alabama with the upset, 27-14, 20 SEC championship game. And let me tell you, that was a fun game to watch. No matter which side that you were on, I think it was competitive all the way down. Alabama took control of the ball game early with a 17-7 first half lead, and they went ahead and held on to win 27-14. So you gotta hats off to them. Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck was 21 for 29 for 243 yards, no touchdowns and no interceptions. Jalen Milroe. That kid, he's a baller. He passed 23 attempts, 13 completions, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. But one of those things with this kid is you can't forget about. He's able to run the ball. He ran the ball in some key situations. He didn't have no long breaks, but he ran the ball at the right times and got the right plays, the first downs, and the things that he needed to do. I like that kid, so I'll be definitely watching him and seeing what he does in these coming playoffs. So remember the name, And moving right along, we had Michigan in the Big Ten Championship, Michigan at Iowa. Of course, I didn't feel like Iowa had a chance in this game. I felt like Michigan was going to smoke them, and that's what Michigan did. Iowa didn't do anything, and we're not going to even talk about Iowa. Yeah, yeah, they didn't do anything. They got smoked. Moving right along down to Cinderella. I'll call Florida State Cinderella because it's midnight and everything turned into a pumpkin, and they missed the playoff, and they win 16-6 in the ACC championship. Pretty good game. Didn't get a chance to watch it, but all I know is they won the ball game and they got screwed. So there you have it with that. We talked about that ad nauseum. Oklahoma, Texas, 49-21. Oklahoma, Texas took care of business in that game. The American Athletic Championships, Tulane and SMU, they won 26-14. And those are your college games for the week. So, that's college football in a nutshell. NFL scores. We got some big games coming up this week. Well, we got NFL games coming up because right now it's bowl season, so it won't be no college games next week. I think it may be a couple of other games. You do have Navy and Army playing on the 9th, and that's going to be on CBS at noon Eastern time. Well, I'm going to say noon Pacific. So if you're into the Army-Navy game, check that out. Both teams are 5-6. That's not anything that I'd be watching, but if you're into that, check them out, CBS. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, we got Trevor Lawrence. He went out with a high ankle sprain. Let's see here. So he'll be out, but at this point, they're threatening for a playoff spot. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers looks crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him. Somebody tell me what's wrong with Aaron Rodgers. He looks like he steals catalytic converters or something. So my man's. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He look crazy. He got a straight porn stash. What is he doing? What is he doing right now? This look right here. This Aaron Rodgers right here. This is the Aaron Rodgers that needs to retire. Just give it up, bro. This is not the look, bro. Oh man. Anyway, but we're gonna go ahead and just this is the shorter version of the